Another hot sunny day in August. There's a south side of the apple tree. Now I've disturbed the blackberries. Blackbirds eating the blackberries there. Oh, there's a bee. There's a bee on my runner beans. There it goes. A wild bee, not a honeybee. There's another one up there as well. So that's a different variety of wild bee. So that's encouraging, because these runner beans haven't been setting incredibly well this year. There's a couple coming along here, but it's not exactly loaded. Honeybee on the pink flower up there. Not a honeybee, a bee though. Where is it? There it is. I don't know which sort of wild bee that is. The wild bees are so important. There's so many crops that are pollinated by wild bees. Sometimes as well as honeybees, but often honeybees don't really do the job. So it's really important to have wild spaces. I've got lots of wild spaces. There's wild space there. And the leaf cutter bees have been doing very well on this lilac here. Look at that. Leaf cutter bees have been cutting that. Now where they nest, I don't know. Where they take that rolled up leaf to and roll it up. There's a good pile of logs here for wildlife, and maybe they're in there. This plum tree I need to pick. It's got plums on there, and unfortunately it's had rather too much competition from these rather aggressive cherry plum trees that are growing here. Well, there's fewer cherry plums still on those, but they've nearly finished. But I should cut them down probably. But there are birds' nests in the middle of there. So, sorry blackbird. So I don't want to disturb things too much, but maybe the branches that come out this way I could take off and give this poor plum tree more of a chance, because look at it's had to bend right over to get away from them. Must pick them I think today, because they look as though they do look ripe. This potato is this is Wilgia. It's a mid-season crop, although it was planted quite late this year. But it's one of my favourites actually. Favourite potato, Wilgia. There's some leeks in here. More leeks down there. This is a bit of an experiment really. I want to see how closely I can grow my sort of Christmas potatoes. These are planted late, we're digging at Christmas, to this red currant, which has also got an oak tree growing in the middle of it. The oak tree has been really enjoying the extra water I've been giving the red currant and potatoes. Look at that, you get a nice young new growth on the oak tree. Apples will soon be ripe actually. They're coming along. A few blackbirds in amongst them. No, up until a little while ago, this area underneath this apple tree on this side was totally no-go area. I've hacked some of it back, and in the spring I'm going to bring it into use and see what I can grow under there. I mean, it's got snowdrops and things growing under that at the moment, so but I'm going to move those this winter. That's the plan anyway. Move them, clear that whole area out, and possibly grow some more potatoes. These are more Christmas potatoes here. Well, there is the occasional honeybee visiting these beans today. So maybe this is just the day for the bees. Oh, there's one. So honeybees do get on the runner beans. Don't know how much they get from them, but they don't stay for very long. Well, definitely a few honeybees on here today. Oh, so that's encouraging. Well, my self-seeding lettuce just started to flower, so I hope the bees find that as well. It's just the one lettuce here. There's some more further down the garden, but it just pops up when it wants to, as long as it flowers and sets seed, and I chuck it on the compost heap. This is a difference. The wild bee actually goes inside the flower, but the honeybee only goes to the base of the flower to get at the nectar. It doesn't actually go inside the flower. That's a wild bee going into the flower. Oops. Yeah, going right inside the flower. These are the cooking apples. I keep removing damaged ones. There's one here. Another one there. They're very organic and support a lot of pests. Hopefully not too many diseases, but they certainly support pests. So those two, and they've got maggoty. Still, it's dropped quite a lot of apples this year as well because it's so hot. But I give it the hose every now and then, and that does help it a bit. These are Bramleys, so they're traditional English cooking apple. Not every country has the same cooking apples apparently, but this is in England. Another one there, look, it's damaged. Have that off. Done some grafting on this big old tree. So these apples here are not the same as the mother tree. They're actually from that tree over there. So it's taken quite well. I've done several grafts, or 3 or 4 different ones around the tree. A few years ago now, that was quite a few years ago. So I don't know. This is another graft which has got some apples on this year. These are from the graft, and that one actually could do with pruning that piece there. Not all of my grafts have been successful. There was an early attempt there which didn't make it at all, and one up there. In fact, this whole branch I see is actually dead. I mean, this is grafted onto quite a young branch. It comes from right down here. Now, in the old days, I would have taken quite a lot of time and effort to cut out dead branches, but now I'm more tolerant of them. I think a dead branch in a tree probably serves a function to something or other, possibly pests, but possibly beneficial insects as well. Everything needs a home somewhere, so I'll be leaving that dead branch in there and its bark so that things can get underneath. This apple tree hasn't got many apples on this year. It's having a bit of a rest, and it may be because all its light has been taken by those cherry plums in the hedge behind it. So I think as it's August time and there's no fear of disturbing birds' nests, it's time to cut a lot of that hedge out. I need some supports for my little apple tree, and this is getting quite overgrown in a way. It's shading the tree on the other side, so I'm going to cut quite a lot of these out of here before they get too big to be removed with the loppers, even though the loppers are quite chunky. That's a good bundle of sticks to be going on with. You can see that I've done this before, and it makes little difference to this cherry plum. The more I cut it off, the more it grows. So I'm going to go around the other side and possibly cut some off with the saw, which is too big for the loppers. And blackberries do just as well on the north side of the hedge as they do on the south, especially in years like this when it's baking hot all the time. And they don't need the rain. They've got their roots well down there somewhere, I suppose. Anyway, they carry on in the hot weather, just producing fruit, feeding the blackbirds basically. So there's a bird's nest. Probably a blackbird's nest, I would think. Nestled in amongst the stumps from where this has been cut before. So hopefully they can reuse that site if they want to, but it might be a bit too exposed for them next year. That's when I get that big piece off. Well, I've chopped quite a lot down there. There's quite a nice big hole up there now, but I think that lot needs to come down as well. Possibly even this lot too, but let's have a go at that. Oh, it's made quite a big hole there now. Still could have that lot off. There's still little cherry plums on this one here. They're quite sweet, but they're not very big. There's not very many of them. They look lovely shiny in the sun though. But as I say, not very big and too few. too few to really worry about.